Welcome to Module 1, Age Terminology During the Perinatal Period. Why don't you grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea? You're going to need your pencil and some paper and a calculator, and we're going to get started. I've invited Nicholas Gonzalez and Janine Conley, who are going to actually demonstrate how to complete the math to prepare you for the first assignment, Scenario 1. So this is entitled Age Terminology During the Perinatal Period. Our big idea is to learn how to correct for prematurity, and our objective today is to calculate postmenstrual age, chronological age, and corrected age as what you'll be doing as a role of the dietitian and or healthcare provider in the NICU. It's important to understand why you need to correct for prematurity. And it is important because it gives an accurate assessment of the baby's developmental abilities. When a baby is born early, his brain and the rest of his neurological systems have not developed or matured to the same degree as a baby born term. If your baby has a gestational age of 28 weeks, her brain and the rest of her neurological system would need a full 12 weeks of growth before we would even expect her to function as a term newborn. Therefore, the developmental expectation of a premature infant are based on corrected age rather than chronological age, as it would be for a term infant. As the premature infant gets older, both the corrected and the chronological age are used as a guide in the developmental assessment. So to begin to understand, the first word that is very important is gestational age. Many of you probably already are well aware of what gestational age is. It's a very common term used during pregnancy to describe how far along the pregnancy is. We usually describe it in weeks and days. It is measured in weeks from the first day of the woman's last menstrual cycle to the current date. A normal pregnancy can range from 38 to 42 weeks. Infants born before 38 weeks are considered premature. Now, the perinatal term is a little different. This is pertaining to the period immediately before and after birth. The perinatal period is defined in diverse ways. Depending on the definition, it starts at the 20th to 28th week of gestation and ends 1 to 4 weeks after birth. So we have gestational age, which are the weeks from the time of conception until the time of birth. So the first term that is very important is gestational age at birth, which is reported in weeks and days. So it could be the baby was born at 32 weeks and 3 days, often written as 32 plus 3/7, because there's 7 days in a week. It is important to understand what the gestational age was at the time of birth for that infant. Chronological age is the number of days from the time of birth till the time of the assessment or the current date that you're referring to. So basically, it's the number of days the infant has been alive. And postmenstrual age is simply adding the gestational age at birth plus the chronological age, which gives you the postmenstrual age. And we consider this the perinatal period. On this slide, taken from Pediatrics 2004, it really shows you in a graphical way just each of these terms. So we have conception, or the first day of the last period, and the gestational age of the pregnancy in weeks, the time of birth, so that would be the gestational age at birth, and then continues on the chronological age. And if you add the gestational age at birth with the chronological age, you have postmenstrual age. And then we want to correct for prematurity, and that corrected age is taking the PMA and subtracting the number of weeks that would have occurred had they gone to term. So corrected age is the chronological age reduced by the number of weeks before 40 weeks gestation. So for example, if the infant is born at 28 weeks gestation, they had missed 12 weeks in the womb, 40 minus 12. So we would need to correct for 12 weeks. It's used for at least the first year and more up to 3 years in former preterm infants. Many healthcare workers in practice will correct until 2 years, which is when there's a transition from the WHO growth grid to the CDC growth grid. The WHO growth grid goes birth to 24 months for a term infant, and the CDC goes from 2 years to 18 years. Chronological age are the days since the date of birth minus the number of weeks or the months of prematurity, which is corrected age. Or we often, if the infant is less than 40 weeks, we actually call corrected age postmenstrual age. So that's the term gestational age. If it is less than 40 weeks, we refer to it as postmenstrual age. But if it's greater than 40 weeks, we usually refer to it as corrected age. So if an infant is, let's say, 43 weeks as postmenstrual age, and then we subtract out the 40 weeks for term gestational age, we would say the infant corrects to 3 weeks. So now I'm going to turn it over to Nicholas and Janine, and they're going to walk you through each of these calculations to give you examples on how to do it. Thank you.
All right, and this
All
is
right,
where
Nick, let's do this.
Turn it over to Nick, and I'm here to support you, Nick, if there are any hard questions. But I think not. I think everyone's going to do well.
Well, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will try my best to answer them. But I'm excited, so let's get this started. The first question.
Let's do it.
Okay, so it says, determine the postmenstrual age for the following example. And like we just went over, postmenstrual age is the age from the last menstrual period to the date of assessment. So like the total age. So for that, this is the first question. So we want to find the PMA. So PMA, and here we have the equation that PMA is equal to gestational age plus chronological age. So we're going to write out that equation. That's an H, chronological age. So in this case, the gestational age would be 33 weeks. So we're going to do 33 weeks plus our chronological age, we have 10 weeks, plus 10 weeks. And that's going to come out to a total of 43 weeks. Pretty simple, okay. Right? Mm-hmm. Then with that, we can find our ultimate goal, which is the corrected age. And that's the second question right here. So to find the corrected age, we can follow the formula that is highlighted there. So corrected age is going to be the PMA minus the term gestational age. And that's the time from the last menstrual period up to birth. And since it's a term gestational age, that's going to be 40 weeks, like a regular term infant. So PMA minus term gestational age. So there's our formula, and we're just going to input our numbers here. So we got the PMA from this equation right here. So we have 43 weeks minus the term GA, which we're going to get from up here, 40 weeks. And with that, we can see that the corrected age is going to be 3 weeks. 3 weeks corrected age. There you go. That's it. Pretty simple.
Easy.
Pretty basic, right? Any questions so far?
No, that was pretty
No.
straightforward. Should we
Okay. Let's
advance?
move on then. Yeah, let's go on. Let's get a little harder here.
Okay, so let's make sure we were right. So here we go. Here is our answer. So
3
you got it
weeks
right.
corrected age. Perfect.
All
So
right,
we found
let's
we found the PMA first, and then after we found that, that's what we needed to find the corrected age. Okay, so then next example, let's see what Dr. Abel has in store for us. Okay, so we're looking for the same things pretty much. There's 2 questions, right? The first one is to find the postmenstrual age, and the second one is to find the corrected age. We have something a little different here. It's not just in weeks. If you can highlight there, it's weeks and 1 day, and weeks and 5 days. That's okay. It shouldn't change up our math in any way. So first step, let's find the PMA. I'm just gonna write down the equation. I always like to write it out so I know what I'm looking for. So PMA is equal to GA, gestational age, plus chronological age. Okay, and we're just gonna input the numbers. So we have 33 weeks and 1 day. That's gonna be our gestational age. I'm just gonna put some parentheses here. And that's going to be plus the chronological age, which is 10 weeks and 5 days. Thank you. So we're not going to add these 2 numbers. Well, instead, what we're going to do is add the weeks first. So we're going to have a total of 33 plus 10 weeks. So we have 43 weeks. And then we're going to add the days. So we have 43 weeks and 6 days. So that's going to be our postmenstrual age. Okay, make sense so far?
And Nicholas, could I just interject something there?
Of course.
So if you would have had 33 weeks and 5 days, plus 10 weeks and 5 days, just sometimes it might help to actually even add the days first, because you have to change it. So if you have over 6 days, if you have 7 or more, you have to convert then that to a week. So if you had 43 weeks plus 10 days, we would then have to convert that to 44 weeks and 3 days.
Right.
Got it.
So
That
this
makes
is
sense.
so that's kind of what you're talking about. So you can do the days first. So the way that I would do this is just 43 weeks and 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
obviously, 10 days is more than a week. There's 7 days. So minus 7 days in 1 week is going to be 3 days left over. And this is going to add the week. So we have 44 weeks and 3 days. So that would be the
Excellent,
corrected
Nicholas.
age if it went over. So that's a good point. I didn't think about that one. But we're gonna stick to this answer here, just for the sake of the question, okay?
Yes.
So now we're on to question 2, and we're gonna look for the corrected age. So let's just write out the equation again. So corrected age is going to be PMA. Can somebody tell me what that is? PMA?
Postmenstrual age.
And what does that mean?
That is the gestational age plus the chronological age, which is the number of days or weeks that the baby has been alive, plus the amount of time that the baby was in the womb.
Perfect. Thank you. So then we're going to do PMA minus the term gestational age, which is going to be 40 weeks, just like before. So that's going to give us 43 weeks and 6 days minus 40 weeks. And that's going to come out to 43 minus 40 is 3 weeks and 6 days. And that is your corrected age.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. Perfect. So that's what we're going
So
to be basing all of
basically,
our-
if we did have an extra day that would make it to 7 days, then the corrected age would have just turned to 4 weeks.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So like in this case here, the 44 weeks and 30 days, and 3 days, we would simply do 44 weeks and 3 days minus 40, because that's the term GA right here.
Yeah.
And that'll give us 4 weeks and 3 days corrected age.
Yeah.
Okay? Does that make
Got
sense,
it.
everybody? Pretty simple. Okay?
Got
let's
it.
let's see if Dr. Abel has another curveball for us.